Let's see. Share.
Yeah, I'm up here a little late. No, Papa. Daddy got us down here working.
Okay.
There we go. Dat. Hold your mouth before you even say anything.
What's up, family? How are you all? So, we did not go live last week. And we planned on going live, but there was a lot going on, and last week was really, for us, an exhausting week. It was exhausting.
Can you tell?
Look as at parents, bags. And it was just a week where we really had to push. So we didn't go live because we were in the hospital. We were in the hospital with our youngest baby boy, Caden. So we decided to just utilize that time to really pay attention, be alert, and be where we need to be both mentally, spiritually, as parents. So we
needed that time to just
decompress
and take everything in, because a lot happened from Monday to Saturday.
Yes.
And so it all started off with Dad taking Caden to his scheduled doctor's appointment, which was a fight to get because we had some previous issues with like insurance and them dropping in my insurance, which he was under my insurance, and then couldn't get his insurance. It was just a lot. So we finally got him to his doctor's appointment, and tell us about it.
So we get to his doctor's appointment, and one of the things I'm like, all right, there was still some issues with insurance. So like I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna pay out of pocket for him to be seen. So which I'm very glad I did. Because in him being seen, we were able to get him seen, and then what happened was the first thing that happened was we were sent to triage when he was seen, and they sent us to triage, and they told me to undress him, weigh him. Now we had some concerns in relation to his weight, and him not picking up weight as fast as our other children, and his skin was just really in a rough condition. So and that's part of the reason why we were like demanding he had a doctor's appointment. So we weigh him, and Caden at this point is 6 pounds. And for a parent, that's like, you kind of like, oh, he's getting big, and you kind of like guessing around where he was at, because Caden at birth was 4 pounds. So we kind of like assumed he was like on the verge of like 7 going on 8 pounds, or like 8 pounds. So we began to say, okay, like, whoa, Caden's 6 pounds. So he was almost 4 months old and is 6 pounds. So that was the first concern. And then so I'm waiting to see the doctor. And then the doctor comes in, and she's like, hey, which his doctor is phenomenal one. She's the doctor for all our children. So she kind of like comes in, and she's like, hey, we have some concerns. The first words that I can remember hearing was Caden was widely considered failure to thrive is the words they used. The words they used was failure to thrive because of low weight, low current weight, and him not being the adequate weight that you would, expect a 4-month-old to be. So they said automatically, based off his weight, they consider it to be something called failure to thrive. So I'm like, okay, and so I'm like taking that in, and I'm like, okay, and I'm telling the doctor like what's going on. So I'm telling the doctor, hey, like having some issues with his skin. We keep trying new formulas out because he doesn't really like keep down different types of formula. And so we're trying out different formulas to try to make sure like he has the best one that he could keep down without like kind of throwing up. So I tell her all the information, and so she's like, all right, well, what I want you to do is I want you to go to the hospital. I want you to go directly to the ER with him. And as a parent, like you don't want to hear um that they want you to go to the ER with your child, your baby. Um just hearing ER in general with your child or your baby is just like a huge kind of like the ER. So we were sent to the Children's Hospital of Atlanta ER, where they were supposed to be seeing him. So I went. The doctor, once again, his doctor is phenomenal. She actually spoke to both Janae and I because I called Janae and she tried to explain everything and as compassionate and everything as she could, and help us to like kind of be on one accord with everything. So so we end up going to we end up going to the hospital. And so in this moment we are in the hospital with him, and we're making sure like he's getting what he needs. And we're making sure that our baby is getting everything. So in this moment they're going through and they're trying to test him for all these different things. And once again, as a parent, this is like a moment where you're like, okay, well, one thing that we know for sure is that we have faith in God. And in this moment, yes, he's our son, but he's also God's son. And so that's where we begin to almost like put it in God's hands and like really make sure one, we pray for our son, two, we know that he's going to be okay because at the end of the day, God got him. And he's able to hold him down further than we're able to do. So we begin to one on the drive there, we begin to just pray. We begin to pray that whatever it is that's going on, that it be exposed. Whatever it is that situation is happening right now, that it would be rectified and that we would get answers and that God really help us in this moment to be able to help our child. And so we get to the hospital, they run a whole slew of tests. And they one of the first things they tell Janae is they want her to stop breastfeeding at the moment. And so they tell her they want her to stop breastfeeding because they want to check out Caden's diet and want to see what he could possibly be allergic to. Now they had some speculations upon arrival based off of how his skin looked, they said, and how his skin looked and all the different kind of stuff. So they begin to say, okay, we're going to try out this formula. And
we told them that, when I breastfed
and
I ate,
yeah. So
I noticed he would throw up more
Yeah, so we told them when we noticed that when Janae would eat dairy products, that he would throw up more. And so we would make sure that like she would make sure she doesn't eat dairy and stuff like that because he would throw up. So they're like, okay, that's a good basis. You're giving us good information so that we can start to research and look upon. So we then start to go, okay, they're like, okay, so we're going to try out this formula, which is a hypoallergenic formula from Similac called Alicare. I mean, no, called Alimentum, right? Called Alimentum, and we tried the Alimentum, just solely Alimentum. Um, hey, Lana, we try out just solely Alimentum, and that's where they start. And he's kind of keeping it down. Now, I bought Alimentum, but for some reason, when I bought it, he wasn't really keeping it down much, and he kept kind of throwing up. So we were like, okay, he's keeping it down somewhat in the hospital, but then the doctors come in after like a full, what was it, like a full day? It was like a full day of Alimentum, and they were like, no, we need to change his formula. Yeah, so one of the reasons why they said they wanted to change it, which Janae just said, was, I don't know if you guys could hear her, was that he kept having bowel movements every diaper and then we'll all loose stool. So they were like, no, this is not working. We need to change his formula that he's working with. So they begin to change his formula that he's working with, and they shifted to a formula called Elicare. Now we've never heard of this formula ever, because to me the top of the line was Alimentum, because it was a can like this big and it was 40 something dollars, like $39 or something like that. But they tell us they're switching him to something called Elicare, and we're like, okay, we've never heard of it. So they switch him to Elicare, and he's like doing much better with the Elicare and everything. The GI specialist came and said that they want him to, now that he's on Elicare, they want to also implement where we start to give him a little bit of rice cereal so that he can intake more calories. The idea they have is like they want him to intake more calories so that he can begin to put on more weight. So they start to give him Elicare and cereal, where now he's taking Elicare, he's taking cereal, and we're kind of like packing him in with like high. And so we played around a little bit because they at the hospital what he could take and what he couldn't take, because there were times where it was like a 2 ounce bottle wasn't good enough, but then it was like a 3 ounce bottle sometimes wasn't good enough. He wanted a 4 ounce bottle, but then it was like sometimes a 4 ounce bottle was too much. So we kind of had to like with the doctors like figure out what the best ratio was for him, right? And so we end up figuring out like at that point in time, what was it, like a 2.5 or 3 ounce bottle? Mm-hmm. It was like 2.5, 3 ounce bottle was like the ideal bottle for him. It was 3, yeah. It was like the bottle where his stomach wasn't extended. He wasn't like super full where he was like throwing up. Yeah. But it was like he was satisfied.
Because though he was almost 4 months, he still had the stomach of like a newborn. So we had to be mindful about the amounts that we were giving him.
Mm-hmm. And making sure that whatever we were giving him, he was really able to take in and he was able to handle, because we're giving him all of these different things, and he's still tiny, so he's a little bean, he's a little guy. So we're really making sure like, okay, to monitor him. And at this point we've never had a child actually stay in the hospital before, right? Mm-hmm. No, because when Michaela was little, we went back and forth to the hospital, kind of like several times, because there were some issues with her and breathing previously, which we never had ever again, thank the Lord. But we never had a child in the hospital, so it was like a new thing because now we have him staying in the hospital. They keep telling us you might go home, you might not, so we don't know what to do, how to plan. So we thank everybody who jumped in to help us, because our Kingdom family, from Kingdom Empowerment Center, who really kind of that was local and lives around the way.
They were able to come by instead of us having to drop the kids everywhere.
Yeah, and drop the kids probably like an hour, like 45 minutes away to my aunt or something like that. They were able to just come to the house and just like kind of like chill with the kids, watch the little ones and then the older ones for us while we were at the hospital. So we really appreciated everyone who kind of like just jumped in to make sure that the kids were covered, so that wasn't an area that we were worried about while we were at the hospital. So we really appreciate everyone who was there to be our support system along the way, all the family who reached out to us during this time, because it was a lot going on. But one of the things that it's like God made sure he reassured us was that we have the victory over this thing. And that there is, though it may look like our child is in the hospital, he made sure he reassured us that we have the victory. And I say that because the very next morning I woke up from a dream where God gave me a dream saying, like, though the enemy is trying to come in like a flood with an attack, that he's got it covered, and that he's keeping our children safe, he's keeping everyone safe, and that what we feel like is about to be a fight for us, he's already covered the fight. So we were super like, okay, that's confirmation. And then we saw a rainbow on our way there. And for us, one of the representations of a rainbow for us is like God's confirmation of his promise to us. So we saw the rainbow on our drive. And so it's like God told us just straight up, like, you don't have to worry about this. I got this. And so we were at peace with it. We just wanted to make sure we were navigating and doing our portion. Is there anything that you think?
I don't know what you were talking. So you shared how it was a food allergy.
Yeah, Kaden is crunk tonight. he like we talking about me. I need to be in the frame.
He's itchy, so I'm like moisturizing him.
Yeah.
He has very bad case of eczema that the allergy.
Okay, I didn't talk about the food allergy and what it was.
Okay. So yeah, well, being in the hospital all those days, it didn't take them long to just look at him and be like, and after hearing our story, like telling them that he's throwing up after every feeding and going to the bathroom every feeding. And then when I realized when I would eat like macaroni and cheese and anything like big cheese based, like he would project out though. So after hearing all of that, it didn't take them long to say, though they were running all the tests, they were pretty confident that what he has is a food allergy to dairy and soy.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't figure out the soy part until after the alimentum wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, okay, well, we think it's soy as well, because a lot of babies who are allergic to dairy are also allergic to soy. So they told me, they were like, listen, if you want to get back to breastfeeding, you have to change your diet. So we had a nutritionist come in. Don't scratch yourself. They had a nutritionist come in, and it was like sad part of the of a like TV show. Come in, doctor comes in with a pamphlet, and so she was really like breaking it down. Like, listen, if you're gonna have to breastfeed, like your whole life has to change, and you're gonna have to change your diet and remove everything that has dairy and soy in it. And so originally I'm thinking, okay, pizza and the clear things that have milk. But then it's like, no, it's dairy protein. So there's dairy proteins out there that are in stuff like to make certain things like bread and just everything that I love, chocolate, all of that stuff, like basically everything. And then so I'm like, I was like, okay, the dairy thing. But then when they said soy, I was just like, you know what? Like every soy is in everything. Like you pick up every label and it's like soy this and soy that. So I took it really hard the first night that they came in and told me like this is what I'm gonna have to do. So yeah, I was like kind of like not my best. I cried. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. But I wanted to because this Elecare that he's on is like a can like this size, maybe a little bit higher, and it's $41 for one can, and and they were like the can's only gonna last about 2 to 3 days tops, and we're like, bruh, what? Like who got $40 to throw at a can every 3 days? Like this is crazy. So I'm like, okay, but I had hope because I was like, well, I'm a breastfeed, but now like the breastfeeding is a whole nother lifestyle change, and I was just like, you know what? It just doesn't seem like we're winning here. But we were winning because in just a couple hours of them changing, me stopping my breastfeeding and them changing him on a new formula, like you can see like immediate changes, like his skin was just clearing like before our eyes. It was crazy. So it was a lot to take in, but the days went by, I was like, Kyle, he was just like excited because he's already a vegetarian. So he's like, we could do this, babe. Like, we're going to go vegan. And the doctor was like, no, she cannot go vegan. Like, she has to have like the meat proteins and stuff. So, but he was like, because he was like, I could cut out, the cheese and dairy and I'll be vegan basically. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad you're excited. There's nothing exciting over here. That was my attitude at first. But then started like thinking about it and like, okay, think we could do this. So when we left and like I went to go do some grocery shopping because I was back and forth throughout the whole week because I had to make sure my kids were good and everything. So we would either one of us would go back home. So I was like, so one of the nights I went home, I went to Kroger to do some shopping for dinner. I was like, I'm gonna cook myself dinner and I'm bringing it back to the hospital. This is gonna be great. I went into the store and looked at that label. At the label, put them back. At the label, put them back. I was called Kyle and I was like, this is hard. Like everything I pick up, like says soy. Like what I'm gonna do? Like the oil. Like I'm thinking vegetable oil is great because it's vegetable oil. No, vegetable oil has is it soy in it or was it milk? I think it was soy. But we had to get like canola oil or like olive oil or something. I was like, this too much. This too much. Then a lot of things have soybean oil in it. A lot of things are cooked with soybean oil. And I'm like, okay. I said, Kyle, this was hard. I did it. I left with red potatoes, chicken, and rice and asparagus. And that was the meal I cooked, and I took it back to the hospital. And I was like, and I ate it. I was like, "Ooh, this is fulfilling. This is good. Like, I think we could do this." And so that was like the first meal, and I was like, "It's not too bad. Like, it's not too bad. It's just you literally have to read every label." So yeah. Then we wasn't expecting. So it's like what day? That day must have been like maybe day 4, day 5. I don't know. I'm like, okay, we should get ready to go home now. And they're like, no, one more day, and we're gonna take his blood work for this, and we're gonna monitor him one more day. And I'm like, we are tired. Like, we have yet to sleep in our beds. Like, it was horrible. Like, but it was also good because he was getting better, and you could see like just his cheeks were starting to fatten up, and we're like, okay, okay. But then when we were for sure thought we were going, we were like, it's Friday. The GI doctor was like, he looks great. He's doing good. He's keeping the food. They're like, one more day. We want to make sure. So we stayed in the hospital from Monday to Saturday. Sleepless nights, having to feed him every 2 to 3 hours. Them coming in, doing blood work at 4 in the morning, doing all this stuff. So our like time clock is thrown off. And I was telling Kyle, I was like, we gotta stop going to bed at like 3 in the morning. Like, this is not okay. So
because it's kind of like we got back on a newborn schedule.
Yeah. It's definitely like having a newborn. So
it's like it's almost like being back on a newborn schedule with feeding, and now he's gotten almost adjusted to feeding like that. So it's like now
he looks like bigger in the camera.
Now he's like expecting to
compared to like last time.
So it's definitely an adjustment.
You getting bigger, Papa?
And whatnot. But as far as like, you talked about like cooking and stuff?
Yeah, I told him the first meal that I cooked by myself. And I called you and I was like, this is like horrible. Like, but then, so when we get home, we finally released. He was doing good. We were like, yes, he gets to come home. The first night home was great. He's doing great. He's still doing great. He spits up some here and there, but for the most part, he is good. So this one here is like, all right, I'm going to the store. We're gonna have, I don't know what is it that, what was our first meal that you cooked?
Alfredo.
Oh, so he he goes shopping. He comes home with like 10 items, and he's like, yeah, I spent $100 and something. And I was like
105.
Whoa. I was like, 105 for what? Like, it was like 1, 2, 3, like count on my hands how many ingredients like he had on the table. And I was like, oh, so it's just no winning here. There's no, whether it's the Elegant, the $41 every 3 days, or is eating like dairy and soy free, it's just dollar signs. And they was telling us in the hospital, they was like, if you have a Whole Foods, I'm like, Whole Foods, where we live at, we gotta go outside the town to go to Whole Foods. But no, the best place thus far is Kroger. He went to Kroger. I kind of want to try this farmers market. We have a farmers market near us, but he went to Kroger and got this stuff that was so expensive. It was an avocado based
avocado oil,
Alfredo, which wasn't really Alfredo.
It did not taste anything like Alfredo.
It didn't taste anything else. Like so, everything that we had thus far that's supposed to be like a supplement of something, like the mac and cheese, like the cheese, it don't taste like cheese. Like, I don't know what it's not bad. Now let me make that clear. The food is not bad. The food actually tastes really good. It's just not what it's supposed to taste like, mimic basically.
Yeah.
But it was really good. So he cooked that. It was what do we have with it? Do we have asparagus again?
We had asparagus. You had like chicken or something.
And chicken.
And
so
I just had the noodles.
And it was like really good, right? So then day 2, then he cooked again. So that lasts about two days.
Yeah.
Just me and him. So we figured out this is not gonna work for the whole family because we don't got the money like that to be feeding. Because he bought what? 2? Did you use both cans?
No, I used
he used 1 can, and that was good for 2 of us. But that 1 can was like $5, and it was like this big. So it's not. So we were like, okay, we'll do the separate meals, because I was like, maybe it'll be cheaper just cook everyone's meal together. But we did the math and tried to figure it out. No, it's not. It's best if we just cook them their meal and then we have our own separate meal, since he's doing it with me.
Yeah.
Trooper. So then the second meal we had, the third, so that lasted 2 days. So that was the first that you cooked. Because I cooked the meal. Okay, that was the first that you. Then the second meal, that was the one we just finished, right? No.
It was the coconut garlic pasta.
Okay. Now that tasted really good. It was like garlic noodles. He used spaghetti noodles. And
it was like okay, so I used spaghetti noodles, coconut milk. I didn't have flour, so I couldn't thicken the sauce. So what I used was
Why are you rocking my head?
Excuse me. I used a mozzarella Daya cheese, and so that it could get thicker a little bit and like thickening it. So it was like a garlic.
See, he's good at that stuff. Like he'll look at ingredients and be like, "Oh, this goes together." Like da 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 da.
Yeah, so I like cooking.
I don't. Everyone already knows my story. I don't. It frustrates me, but it's like I felt like a science. He's like, yeah, these spices go well together. And da, 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 da. I'm gonna create my own sauce, and I'm like,
coconut has like a very specific taste. So you have to find something that's going to kind of complement.
Coconut thing is in, it doesn't
complement
thing tonight.
It all. Taste coconut. And so
that meal was good. And then last night,
no, it wasn't last.
Whatever night. The night before.
The night before was he made a Spanish. No. No. You're missing the curry.
Oh, you did. Oh, dang! You cooked a lot. Oh my God, we just went through meals.
I made curry chickpeas and potato with what was it? I mean,
dang, we had to cook like every night then.
Yeah.
So everything was not lasting 2 days.
It was like 2 days. I made a curry chickpea and potato meal with a vegan style mac and cheese.
The curry was that was good. Oh yeah, that was the okay, mac and cheese. Yeah. The mac and cheese I didn't really care for. It wasn't bad. It was just like
it wasn't cheese.
Yeah, it wasn't cheese. It wasn't. It was like it went with the curry. The curry was bomb.
Yeah, it went with the curry pretty well.
Yeah, and kind of leveled it out.
Like, yeah, and the ingredients to that was just coconut milk, flour,
you see how he
vegan butter, paprika, Dijon mustard, and salt, pepper, and Lowry's, and you mix it all together, create like a brulee or whatever. And then you mix the noodles and then you top it with some like Daya cheese or like breadcrumb or something. But because the breadcrumbs, soy, and everything, I use the Daya cheese to top it.
You see how he is? He's like, yeah. Then we have the rice and beans. That was like, I don't know what you did with it. But I'm about to make my rice like that all the time now.
The rice was...
Oh, it was stock.
The rice was just, rather than using water, you grab the white rice. You use vegetable broth in place of the rice. So you use vegetable broth, you pour the vegetable broth in, and then it was sazon, and a little bit of salt, and you let that boil down and like mix it up, and you like it's seasoned, so like the vegetable broth gives it a nice flavor.
Did you season the beans?
Gives it a flavor, yeah, and the beans were seasoned also. So the beans were seasoned with sazon, garlic powder. It had sauteed onions and peppers in it. Garlic powder. It had minced garlic and add water and a little bit of vegan butter and like let it all cook and simmer together. And it comes out.
Oh yeah, we gotta get vegan butter, bro. Anyway. That meal was the best so far.
Yeah, she was like,
I was like, ooh.
Oh, and she had steak with it. So she had
It wasn't steak, it was beef.
Oh, steak beef. They all look the same to me.
Beef, like stew meat.
Like beef stew meat or whatever.
But
which you still have.
I know. And then tonight I cooked.
She did.
I didn't get
It was
I didn't
good.
get the reaction of the ooh,
She okay,
this
so
is good.
she like always looks for her reaction that she does when she thinks something is really good.
We're supposed
So
to
she's like,
like,
"Oh, this is
you when
amazing."
you eat, you supposed to go like,
And so if I don't like make a noise, she's
mm.
like,
Or not that you don't make a noise, but you gotta like. Sometimes when the food is good, you don't make a noise, but you just be like quiet because you like down a minute, but you like
enjoying it.
you could tell in the face, like you don't have to say nothing, you can just tell in the face, like, oh yeah, they enjoying it. I didn't get that tonight, but it's okay. It's okay. I made ramen.
She made a vegan
soy
style ramen.
free fancy ramen now. My ingredients were bok choy, green onion, celery, carrots,
vegetable broth,
and then they have a soy-free
coconut aminos,
soy sauce alternative, which is coconut aminos, and a soy-free sriracha sauce. And I had to use rice noodles because apparently ramen noodles made with milk and soy. So, like the pack noodles. So, got the rice noodles, cooked it. It smelled amazing. It smelled really, really good. The taste was not bad. It just wasn't like, ooh. I guess I could have added some more. Like for his plate, like he kept putting more of the amino.
So it just to me needed a little bit more coconut aminos. I added a little bit of honey to like complement the taste of it.
Excuse me.
So it was like honey went well with it. So
I put honey in that too.
And I added like
and then I seasoned it, of course, with like chili pepper, garlic. What? So
it was like spicy. It had a little kick to it.
Hit you right here. The noodles were really good actually. Like Aaliyah tried them and she was like, why don't they feel hard? And I'm like, they're not hard. Like they were like more chewy.
Yeah, they were more like the noodles were more like chewy. A spaghetti type of noodle. Because I looked at it, I was like, oh, it looks like spaghetti.
But it didn't break up like spaghetti. You had to like chew that thing. No?
No, it was kind of like
I put a lot in my mouth at one time.
Yeah, Janae was eating.
I was busting it down. I was like, it's good enough. Like it may not be the best meal ever, but it was good enough.
Meanwhile, I'm like, let me add a little bit of this.
Like adding stuff.
Let me add
I was scared to add stuff because it had that kick. It was like, I think I put too much sriracha.
I added more sriracha. I added some honey. The honey just gave it a nice little sweetness to it, kind of like gave it more like a teriyaki type glaze type feel to it. So it was really good. Really like good. I liked it.
I think I could
now I don't
out regular noodles for that.
I don't think it's gonna be good tomorrow.
Well, it's not. No, it might be. It wasn't like a whole bunch of water in there. Yeah, it's not a meal that you like have leftovers with. Like you gotta. I shouldn't have made as much.
Yeah, it's not a leftover meal.
I use like 4.
Like I'm very apprehensive about
bunches of rice. Where are you gonna eat it tomorrow? I ate your meals, so it was good. You're going to eat. You didn't like my meal.
I liked your meals. Wow. I liked your meal.
The truth comes out. But
I just don't know if it's going to be good tomorrow.
Well, if you keep speaking like that, maybe it won't be. Let's be positive.
Okay. It'll be good tomorrow.
Yeah, Ilana. So it was like really, really, really good. The noodles. I think the bok choy was a little like, I think I overcooked. It was like a little overcooked.
No, my bok choy was pretty good.
It was good. I took a picture. So let me see.
My bok choy was pretty good.
Oh, and then I had also boiled eggs, which my kids tried today for the first time, and they were like, "That's not bad." See, it looked I don't think y'all can see it. No.
You gotta lean a little bit more.
That was no.
Look it up. Let's phone focus.
Focus. No. Whatever. It was good. It was good. It was good enough. So
it was good enough.
We got like one more. No, that's gonna be our food tomorrow. We gotta cook like one more time. So I didn't how many times? So we cooked almost every night. One day. No, we got back.
Which the nutritionist pretty much told us like you'll most likely have to cook every meal you make. There's yeah.
Do you have something you would like to share?
No, babe, it was good.
Cause you did sit in the corner pretty quiet.
It was good. Like it was.
It could have been better.
It could have been better. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was like I ate it. But it was like I wanted another flavor in it, and I just couldn't figure out what the flavor was. Like it was like I wanted like another flavor in it. Because I don't know. I'm one of those people that like if it's a sauce and I'm making a sauce, I'll be like making it.
He like test. Maybe that's why it wasn't like. Cause I don't like do all that testing.
I usually like open my hands and like drip.
Like when he was cooking the freaking Spanish food, he basically had a whole meal while he was cooking because he kept eating it.
No, you have to taste it.
You were eating it. You were eating. You weren't tasting. You were eating.
I wasn't eating it because so I'm not one of them people that's like I'm gonna eat. I'm not gonna stick a spoon in the thing, mix it, eat off of it. That's gross. Like nobody want to share your germs. I know they say like,
but you're not supposed to put it in there again.
Will kill it and things like that.
You take a spoon and you taste it, and then you wash off the thing.
But I will take. It's probably like wasting dishes, but I probably will like take a separate spoon, do it, drop it in the sink, and I'm like, it needs more of this.
See, when I taste tested tonight, I took a fork and I porked it and I got a piece of celery. That was it. Not like a whole bunch. I didn't taste it all at once. And I was like, let me see what the celery tastes like.
But the celery has a distinct taste. So it's not I know. The overall flavor.
So then I tried to carry it. And I was like, the
carrots have a distinct taste. I said,
it's soft to taste. Like, I could taste something. Well, y'all, this is why he's the cook.
So you have to taste the sauce because the sauce is what's covering everything. The carrot is going to come with the taste with the sauce. The celery already has a distinct taste with the sauce, but you have to taste the sauce because the noodle is not going to have a taste of its own. It's going to take on whatever.
So that's what I found out later when I tasted the noodle. I was like, this don't taste like nothing. The carrot was very flavorful.
So like I said, I'm one of those people that like I'll be mixing the thing and then I'll take the spoon and like if I really want to just try a dab of the sauce, I'll like drop a dab in my hand and just like be like
I don't.
This ain't it.
He'd be like, stick your finger, put your finger in the spoon and tell me. I'm like, I don't do that. Like, no.
Yeah, and then I'm very like I gotta wash my hands every 5 seconds when I'm cooking. I gotta like. I'm not one of those people. I don't know. It's just
you're
like
very sanitary. Yeah.
So. It's just like in my head, I'm like, I just touched chicken. Wash.
So we did good with the themes. Like we had Jamaican. We had Spanish food.
It was more like island.
Spanish, Asian. I don't remember the first thing. Yeah.
American? I don't know because it was potatoes. I have a saucer or a cup on the side to drop sauce into taste. I feel you, Milana. That's smart. Maybe I should do that. I just like tasting like you know how like one drop.
And then he makes tons of dishes. Let's not talk about that.
Have I not been cleaning up as I go though?
You've been doing way better, yes. But at the end, no. At the end, it's like mad pots.
because
like that stuff.
I cooked in several different pots, but I usually wash as I go now.
With my wash as we go, people. I can't stand a messy kitchen. Right, Kaden? So, we don't do that.
So I mean, listen, if
so
you got the dishes, right?
Anyway, back to Kaden. So Kaden went to his follow-up appointment Monday with his primary doctor, and drum roll, he is now 8 pounds. He gained 2 pounds in 1 week.
Yes. So Kaden, he gained 2 pounds in 1 week.
My warrior.
Let's show them you, Kaden. You gonna be a good boy.
He like, what are you doing?
So I'll say I gained 2 pounds in 1 week. My skin is clear.
His skin. I don't know if y'all if y'all ever seen his skin.
Oh, you wanted to say something to the people?
He look all like he can't breathe. Got me all swaddled.
Say something to people.
He all greased up.
Say hi.
Don't let Pastor Mike see him. He gonna be like, he always greased up.
So Kaden gained 2 pounds in 1 week. And that's pretty much what they wanted. Look, he's smiling and laughing.
That was fun.
Say this show is about me now.
He does look big, right? Even just looking at Kyle hold him, like he's taking up a lot of your arm now.
Yeah.
So he's getting big. So if he continues at this rate, 2 pounds a week, I don't know. He's gonna be a big old butterball and give him a couple more weeks.
Yeah, but that's what they wanted. The GI specialist said, like, when we see him next, he wants him to be a way bigger baby. He made a joke and said his thigh need to look bigger than his and everything. So we were other thing. Okay, so when we
the only one.
When
Aaliyah doesn't even still kind of scared.
Yeah,
she would like refuse to hold him because she's like, he is too little. So,
yeah. But one of the things when I took Kaden to his doctor's appointment, right? I go and the nurse is like, "This is him? Oh my gosh!"
he's a celebrity.
So we walk into the doctor's office and the nurse sees him and she's like, he's pooping. You know, I smell it.
He's pushing on my belly.
But he walks into the doctor's office and all of the nurses come out and they're like, "Oh,
they were really worried."
So all the nurses and the doctors and things were so worried about him that when he came, like the one nurse was like, "Oh my God, I've been praying for him since I last saw him." His doctor was giving updates all the time. She was sending us messages like, "This is an update on him." So apparently they had like a whole thread or something of the sort where they all were getting updates on Kaden and they were all like praying for Kaden. So Kaden had people praying for him and making sure he was all over the place to make sure like Kaden was covered.
You could tell they were actually really worried and concerned. Even in the beginning, like he was telling me of like when she was saying like she was concerned about him, he needs to go to the hospital. Like even the doctor had tears in her eyes. So I don't know. I was like, the way they was acting, they acted like he was on his last leg. Like, ain't that the term? On your last leg. But so and who knows? When we were driving home, I was like, Kyle, who knows how bad this really could have been. And you hear babies dying in their sleep. He was basically malnourished.
Yeah. They told us his liver enzyme shot up. Like they said a teenage girl who was anorexic or bulimic, and we first introduced food back to them. And so they said pretty much what was happening was we were feeding him, but he was getting malnourished because
I was feeding him like every hour on it. Like he was always
nursing.
I was like, oh, he's like cluster feeding. He must be growing. But it was more so it's not staying in. So
he was like looking for more because he couldn't get enough. So it was like it was pretty much good to hear and go to the doctor's office and hear he gained weight. He's doing much better. Everybody noticed his skin is completely clear. Anybody that has seen Caden
who knew food allergies
for the last couple of weeks, his skin was like all kind of like broken out and like everything. So it was like a victory walking in, and the doctor was so excited. His doctor was so excited. She was like jumping for joy when she saw him. She just walked in the room and took one look at him and was like celebrating. So, and everybody was just so thankful that it wasn't anything like major
like
that
no
was
major
like
diseases, no major.
Yeah.
Because at first they were like, it may be something with his stomach where the valve on top of his stomach doesn't close, and so it comes back up and all of this stuff. But it just came back as food allergies, and I'll take that over any of that other stuff. So I am happy.
Yep. And they not only are we happy, it's just like it's a relief to bring our baby home, in all honesty. It was like to bring our baby home and have him.
Yeah, who knew that that it was he would just really need a special diet. Like right before we left for the hospital, we called our pastor and she was like, you know, oil him while I pray over the phone with you guys. And as she prayed, it was definitely gave us the strength, because I was broken down. Like, oh my God, baby.
I was like, I'm ready to go.
But she prayed, and then she said, I hear God say that he's like Samson, and he requires a special diet. Now she, you know, this is before we even got to the hospital and knew all this. So to get
she said we needed to ask God to
what,
reveal to us what the special diet would be. So as we're praying on the way to the hospital, we asked God to reveal to us what the special diet is going to be. Well,
whatever that means.
We were in for a surprise because we out here cooking every single day, different kind of meals.
She was spot on. She said special diet, and she didn't even know really like how bad, you know, because she see Kate in that church, but it would be like, you know, go and come in and you just see his face. You know, she knew, like, she didn't know all the throwing up stories and all that stuff. So she was like spot on. And when we got there, we were like, whoa, this is really truly about his diet. So
yeah,
we knew we're in God's will there. Mm-hmm. Right, Papa? So that has been our week. We are still trying to catch up on our rest. Like I said, like we look hard. Hopefully we go to bed at 3 a.m. tonight.
We will.
I would like, yeah, that would be nice. So really trying to catch up on sleep and kind of jump back into just a regular hour with the other 4 kids thrown in there. Yeah, and I think that's what's throwing us off.
Because today they like, I don't know.
They all want. They be waking up at like 7 in the morning. I'm like, first of all,
and then like they haven't. The babies haven't been in their like normal nap routine, because usually.
What's your daddy doing to you?
Usually, by 2 o'clock is nap time. Like firm, like every day 2 o'clock is nap time, and they've been like, you put them to go nap and they don't nap, and then they're up and they're ready to go like the entire day, and we're what is going on?
They've been bugging out.
So it is definitely like rebuilding the routine with them and everything, even down to rebuilding the potty routine, because we normally have a potty routine with them, and it's just like we kind of been thrown off, so they've been thrown off.
Yeah.
But victory. The other day, Melody said to me, she said she had to potty. And I just changed her pamper and everything. And we bought Melly pull-ups because we find 12 to 24 month pull-ups. Because y'all know Melly is just a little tiny little lady.
Tiny lady.
So we bought her pull-ups, and so she's like, pee pee, pee pee. And she pulls her pull-up down, and I'm like, Melly, you don't have to pee pee, like. And I'm telling her how to pee because I just changed her, thinking like your pamper was already wet. And she takes her pamper off, walks to the bathroom, sits on the potty by herself and pees.
This baby's a genius.
I was like floored because I'm like, oh, I'm sorry for telling you didn't have to pee. Like, you know what's going on in your body. But I just assumed like because I just changed your wet pamper, like you didn't have to pee. But she sure enough went to the potty on her own, sat down on it, peed, got up, and was like, yay! And it was just so cute because she's so tiny and she was just like so happy about it. And then she was like, she gave me like one of those looks like, I told you I have to pee pee, daddy. And I was like, I'm sorry, good job.
Now Melanie, on the other hand, she's regressing. We gotta really get on her. She wants to be baby.
Yeah, I noticed Melanie has been in complete competition today with Melody. Like anytime somebody gives Melody a hug or something, Melani's like, yeah. And then she like is like standing there waiting, like you gotta give me a hug.
She's like, where's my attention?
And so we're like, oh, okay. So like earlier today, I was like, come here, Melanie, come get daddy hug. And then Melly like shot over because Melly's like, hold on, you my hug buddy. And so like Melly like climbing my leg and like she getting in my face and she like rubbing her nose on me because we do nosies and she like rubbing her nose on me and like Melani's like pushing her like woo. And so it's definitely I don't know, parents who have kids close in age, like what did you guys do with them when they get to this phase where they're kind of like they want each other's attention and everything? How did y'all like kind of navigate that, or you kind of share the love and kind of like make them embrace each other? Because what I did was I was
the only child.
I told Melanie, give me a hug. Then I said, Melly, give me a hug. Melanie, give each other a hug. So then they start hugging each other and laughing. And then I was like, all three of us give each other a hug. So as they were hugging, I was hugging them and like rocking them. And so they laughed and they thought it was pretty funny. But it's just like we are like trying to make sure like she's not getting jealous. Dad, you were only child too, Ilana?
I don't even understand all this sibling rivalry that these kids got, and they going back and forth. And that's mine. No, that's mine. Huh? You can't have it.
I know, but it's just like
y'all do what y'all do.
It's just like the hoodie.
Oh yeah.
Michaela couldn't find her coat, so Janae grabs Aaliyah's hoodie, and I'm like, Aaliyah's not going to go for Michaela wearing her hoodie, and she's like, well, I don't have nothing else, and Michaela's going to need something to wear. And Janae comes into the car with Aaliyah's hoodie for Michaela. And she's like, oh, Michaela, here, you're just going to have to wear Aaliyah's hoodie. Aaliyah's like, my hoodie? She can't wear my hoodie.
And then she was like, her underarm stink. She going to stink out my hoodie.
And then Michaela's like, my underarms don't stink. and then it's like hilarious because she's like, hey, that's not no. And then so Aaliyah's like, no, you can wear this coat that I'm wearing right now. Here, take this.
Like, I want my hoodie.
and like Aaliyah was like, absolutely not. You are not wearing my hoodie. I'll wear my hoodie. You can't wear my hoodie.
I'm like, sheesh.
And we're like, I told Janae, I was like, Aaliyah is definitely like, it's the weirdest thing. Like she loves hoodies. But I feel like all kids for some reason nowadays like love hoodies. Like it's the weirdest thing. Like it's like hoodies are like the thing, even in the summer. Like they want to wear a hoodie. It's like, bro, it's hot. So I know because I'm like, it's hot outside, and she's like, I'm cold. Puts on hoodie. So
Mimi, this little boom chica popcorn. I got a bag today. It's good.
I can't. So yeah, so that's been our ordeal, and she said, Ilana said, yes, they're weird. Facts, Ilana, but we navigating through their little weird traits that we're learning about, and it's definitely interesting.
You the one got teenagers.
I know.
I'm not looking for those.
Jeez, we got Aaliyah going to middle school.
Aaliyah gonna be 12 this year. So the next year she'll be 13.
That makes me feel old.
You are old.
Whatever.
Then where are you going?
But But yeah, we're learning to navigate through all of this.
You can't have popcorn. You can't have popcorn.
Child, he's weird too. Look, we all going to get through this parenting journey together and all get strength together. So y'all, that is our hour. We appreciate you all tuning in with us and having us, be in company with us. So we appreciate y'all, and we will definitely see you guys next week when we go live with Living with the Robertsons.
Hopefully on time this time.
Yeah, this time our kids were like trying to play us, and we were fighting with them to go and get in bed and do their chores, and it was like 11 o'clock at night. Like by the time we finally got everybody's chores done, got everybody where they needed to be, because they think they slick. See, unless we say something, they're not gonna do their chores, and then they try to do their chores mad slow so that they can stay up later.
You can't have
so
popcorn.
We're like, absolutely not. So we just keep yelling until they find a little fire under them. Black parents be like, I will knock you to Timbuktu. Hence Minister Mel's word on Sunday on Mother's Day.
Say bye, Kaden. Hold your head. Stop pushing your head back.
So we love y'all. We will see y'all once again. Thank you for tuning in. See, he was chilling with me. We'll see y'all. It's time to go.
Love y'all. Bye.
Bye. Love y'all.
Look at that.